Future of Gardening with Steve from Copyleft Cultivars. Discover how his groundbreaking AI program crafts custom geological recipes for natural fertilizers, revolutionizing the cultivation game. Won't you join us in this conversation as we dive in to see what exactly this tool can do and what the future of it has in store? And as always, stay organically blunt. Organically Blunt Show, a podcast that's about cannabis and the lifestyle that surrounds it, with real conversations, whether you're a novice or a professional grower. Light up and join the conversation. Let's get organically blunt. Comes to genetics, we trust Seedsman Genetics, a seed bank that has been in business for over 20 years. So head on over to Seedsman and use coupon code Organically Blunt. Stop popping jars. Cure, store, and save your terps with Terp Lock technology with grow bags. Your solution for auto curing and cannabis storage, along with customized bag solutions. Use coupon code Organically Blunt, all one word, to save some money at checkout. As the soil and amendments, we trust Country Roots because we like to know what we're putting in our body is organic and it is the best that can be made locally. So head on over to countryroots.com and tell them Organically Blunt sent you. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Organically Blunt Show. I am Jay Blaze, your host, and this evening I have the pleasure and the opportunity to speak with Steve from Copyleft Cultivars. Welcome to the show, Steve.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be back on the show.
Definitely. You're always welcome here. And I kind of just want to dive into things here. I got a few questions drawn up this afternoon. I don't normally do that, but I've been doing that a little bit more to make the conversation a little more engaging and stuff. But other than that, let's start out with, you developed an app that makes it easier for cultivation, not necessarily just cannabis, but as a whole. And can you kind of give us a little more information on what the name of this tool is going to be and kind of what it's going to do?
Sure, yeah. So first off, I'm just a tiny part of the team. I'm one of 14 people that was working on it. I think we're up to 16 people now as of a couple of days ago. We're always adding some new great minds. We have some really great people on the team, but I'm just one member of the team. I'm not the sole creator of it. I did create a large amount of the nutrient data tables. So I originally started off a project called Open Nutrient Project that I started kind of with this type of project in mind originally. It kind of crowdsources nutrient parts per million of as many different plants as we can get valid data for. So, and then what's the range, what part of the plant was tested, so that we can make better composts or teas or ferments or KNF inputs or whatever your tribe of organic is. We're are agnostic to that. We're going to put all the different recipes that we can get our hands on so that we can kind of pick and choose from the different methodologies. Or you can say, hey, I want to do everything Cree natural farming, or I want to do everything Jadam, I want to do everything Vishnuveda, or whatever it is that you want to do for your particular methodology, or even soil food web teachings. You can even follow that, and it'll give you a full recipe list with all that kind of stuff. But what it does is that it takes those original practices and then incorporates the knowledge from that ppm data so that you can create organic inputs that have really dialed in nutrient parts per million based off of existing plant data. And you do have to understand that, like anything, plants are going to have some variety of variation from one level to another depending on where you're growing them and other factors. But at least you have an idea of roughly how close it's going to be. And it does scales everywhere from backyard all the way up to a really large scale. And it's a wonderful group called Copyleft Cultivars. They're originally started as a way to open source registered cannabis and vegetable genetics. So basically You could take any kind of crop that you want to grow, doesn't matter, register the genetics through this group, and then that would be now put into the blockchain, and using a digital contract would allow for that DNA sequence to be registered to the uh, uh, blockchain, and now that's patented, because anything software wise is patented. So you can tie those together in a way that allows you to open source register your genetics. So one of the cool ways that we're trying to help fund that is through this AI, and also allow farmers that are already growing these vegetables and crops and things to have some resources that they can really help with, and get a lot of benefit from. So we're going to be making this eventually free, or have a free tier, and then we'll always have the newest tier with the newest stuff in the beta, and kind of the sneak peek of what we're doing will always be kind of for the supporters. But the supporters are helping us pay for all of the servers, and all of the back end to it. No one gets paid on the team. All of us are doing this completely volunteer. All the money that is donated to the project goes just to basically web costs, server costs, and we have to buy different things to make the AI work, and spend money on server time and things like that. So it goes towards that. And right now, the model that we're going to go over today is the a version that it's kind of like the proof of concept, and now we're training a much smarter version. And the version we have now is incredible, but the next version is even cooler, because it's going to be able to do lots of additional things that we can't do currently with the text-based version that we have right now. So then we'll talk about that on the future version in a little bit. But basically, the idea with the AI is tell it where you are, tell it the size of your grow beds and what crops you're growing in each grow bed, and it can formulate nutrient solutions for fertilizers that are dialed in just for those specific crops. It'll give you dosing schedules. Okay, so at week 4 switch to this for tomatoes or peppers, or whatever it is that you're doing. It knows all the different nutrient requirements. It knows how to grow all the different plants. It knows all the different organic preparation recipes, and then it creates new ones, right? So it's actually making nutrient rich IMO4s and stuff like that, which is really cool. That's not something anybody's ever talked about, but the AI came up with really cool stuff, and it works. We have quite a few different farmers now, and a Native American tribe that are using this actively and daily on their large scale farms, and it's really helping people, and it's something that can really help a lot of farmers worldwide just get away from needing to purchase fertilizers. They can spend that money on their kids or whatever else they feel is more important. When I was in Africa, in Zimbabwe, there's farmers that are spending 80-90% of their income on fertilizers and pesticides. They can make this stuff and not have, and obviously once in a while you'll still have to buy something, but for the most part, you'll be able to switch over to just crafting your own inputs now, and kind of getting away from it and having them customized to your farm, your size, and your exact dosage that you need for your stuff. So it really is kind of a wonderful tool, and something that we're trying to do to democratize the education, because one of the big things is there's a lot of education in English. Like there's hundreds of thousands of hours of cannabis podcasts and garden podcasts and articles written in English. But if you're in Afghanistan and trying to learn and you only speak Pashtun, you're not going to have a whole lot of stuff you can go read to learn about Dr. Lane Ingham's work, or Korean natural farming, or Jadam, right? So one of the other cool things about our AI is that it speaks over 150 languages now, and
wow,
is learning new ones. So that's another big part of it, is that it needs to be language agnostic. The idea is to democratize this type of information, so that people all over, regardless of income level or anything else, can have that stuff available to them, and can educate themselves and the other people around them. And as long as they're it's accessible on a cell phone, it's going to be available to most of the planet.
this is truly amazing. I mean, my position on this whole AI thing, a lot of people are against it, but I feel it's here. It's here. It's now, and I feel like, if you don't utilize and learn how to use it as a tool, you're going to be left behind. I mean, I just feel now is the time, and I've been seeing so much of it. I'm not sure what your position or your opinion as far as a whole is, but I feel, this is definitely something that is just, it's mind blowing at the same time. I mean, the way it learns on its own is just so amazing. I use it daily. I mean, I'm learning to use it to create so much new different types of content and stuff, and it's like it blows my mind every day. And then I tried this out, and when I typed it in for cannabis plants here in West Michigan, it specifically broke down into a veg, a bloom. It even showed me where I could get stuff locally, like what was available locally. And that blew my mind. I was just like, wow, okay, I got to take some notes here because this is going to get implemented and this is going to save me a lot of money when it comes to feeding my plants and keeping them vigorous. So you guys are on the right track there, definitely.
Yeah, and one of the other cool things you can do with it as well is, you can have it create formulas just off of invasive plants, right? So if you want to just whack all the invasive plants in your area, which nobody's going to have a problem with, you can harvest as much as that as you want. You can get thousands of pounds of it. No one's going to ever bat an eye. Um, you know, it'll give you formulations for that. It also accounts for total heavy metals in the formulation. So you can't be like, give me a nutrient solution that's filled with only plants that have heavy metals in it. Like, it'll make sure that you're not going above EPA limits for arsenic or cadmium or mercury. All that's built into the formulationing. So there's a lot of things that we try to think of so that it was as kind of as like Murphy proof as possible, or dummy proof, whatever you want to call it. I don't know what the politically correct term for that these days is, but try to make it for someone that just is just trying to grow. Like, they just got motivated yesterday to grow. They were like never touched a garden before. They just need to like tell it where they are, what they want to grow, the garden bed size, and it'll kind of give you the rest of it, and instructions and all the rest, and to try to make it so that they can utilize more of their land. Especially when I was in Africa, these people are land rich and cash poor, right? So or they have access to like a huge amount of land around their village that's maybe has some grazing on it, but they're not doing anything with like 85% of those plants, right? If you could go out and harvest those, and then create different fertilizers and stuff, or pesticides, or whatever it is that particular plant is useful for, that could unlock a whole new level of not only agriculture potential for those areas, but really kind of revive a lot of formerly abundant agricultural areas.
Definitely, man. I'm flabbergasted. I don't even know what to say. It's like so mind blowing. And the more you play with it, the more you realize it's just one step ahead of what you're thinking at all times. Like, I, it really, it blows my mind. Like I said, I use it every day, and every day I'm playing with it. I'm a techno logic nerd, I guess you'd call it. And I've always liked it. It's like a shiny new toy. And when I came into the AI, when it first just started rolling out to the public recently, I was like, okay, I got to learn how to make this work. And now you guys have dumbed it down to the point that, like you said, a senior citizen could use it. Probably even somebody that's in high school, maybe going to a career tech center that's doing something with the Future Farmers of America or anything like that, could even utilize this tool. So this goes so beyond just the plant that we all are usually here on this channel loving, and expands it to anything you can think of. And that's just amazing, because not everybody knows how to grow anything. And this almost, in a sense, makes you a master gardener of anything you can craft, really. And that's amazing. I'm going to be using it and try to grow some better tomatoes this year. I'm going to try, I didn't have very good luck with cucumbers last year, and they died off and didn't even produce. So this year, maybe I need to add some things to my soil, and this will give me a great idea of where to begin, because I honestly don't have a clue. And there's so much false information out there that to have a reputable source is good. So you guys have done that as well.
And the current iteration does fertilizer formulation. It'll also give you like, hey, I need a little instruction with basic plant growth stuff or any kind of plant questions. It also knows a lot of IPM and pest control things, as well as disease management. In the current iteration, in the next form, so right now it's just does text. In the new one that we're training currently, that we're about 60-70% finished on, we have a great team of people that are working very hard to bring the next version online. You'll be able to upload pictures and things like that to have it identify insects as well as pests and things like that as well. We have this huge database that we've been building that is using open source and publicly available university photos and things like that for basically teaching it how to look at pictures and identify things with the correct tags and everything on it. So it'll be able to answer. You can be like, what's going on? Take a picture, upload it to the thing, and it'll be like, okay, cool. It's this. Here's the organic plan to treat it. And all that stuff. It's also going to have significantly more data on location data for the plants in the next version, as well as a lot more different types of grow methodologies. So we can kind of pick and choose the best solution. The idea is trying to get all the different tribes of organic into like one central hive mind so that you can kind of pick and choose all the different things that's best for that particular problem that you have. Because some things KNF has figured out, some things, Jadam has figured out, some things, Soil Food Web has figured out. So by just kind of picking and choosing from all the different levels, it certainly can give you quite a bit more options. And then you just make sure that you can pick what's best for your garden. If you're following a particular track of cultivation, then you can follow that track and stay true to it if you want to.
Man, that is amazing. That truly is. Like, I can't wait. Like, I'm really looking forward to it because I suck at growing some things, and I feel like this is going to be so useful. And then you get into, what if you get like, some kind of issue with your plant and you don't know how to treat it? You take a picture of it, and this tells you what's going on. Like, that's what we need, because like in just this industry, everybody goes to CalMag. They have an issue. Oh, it's calcium, magnesium. Not always, that's not always the problem. And for this to tell you what's going on and actually give you some type of option other than CalMag, that is going to be huge. That is going to be great for a lot of people to learn how to take care of their plants. But at the end, I feel like it's going to improve the quality of medicine even as a whole, and food, and just anything we consume. And it's going to be a great tool that I feel it's going to be able to be used across so many markets that you guys I don't even think you guys truly understand. Like, there isn't going to be a market that can't utilize this.
Oh yeah, and then on that particular note, in the new version that we're working on, you'll be able to push a button, talk to it, and it'll speak back to you in your language as well. So you could be completely illiterate and just download the thing, hit the button, and talk to it, and it'll be able to give you formulations. So basically, it'll turn on all the people that are not literate, which is a large part of the world. That's trying to farm. 70% of the world gets its income from agriculture. So in terms of total world population. So, this will help people at all levels if we can make it, as language agnostic as possible, and even for people that are illiterate.
Definitely. I feel it could even be used, like I said, even in education, as far as not like as it is designed, but I'm talking from an educator standpoint. They could be doing a course on a certain plant, and they could use your app, an AI technology you develop, to literally teach everything there is to know about caring for that plant that they want to educate on. And that's huge. Man, it just blows my mind. Like, I can't think like this. Like, and I'm a computer guy myself, and I'm just like, man, like, if I would have thought of something like this, it would have been great. But my mind isn't that complex. So like, I can't even fathom half the stuff you guys have developed, but it is definitely needed. I mean, it's so hard to go off these questions because you answered all of them, and that's what's great. And, definitely is, and I guess we'll just dive into what else do you got going on other than this app? I mean, what's going on with you? What are you currently growing, and what are some of the things where people connect with you at on a personal level?
Sure. So currently, I when I came back from Thailand, I had to take care of my dad for a little bit. He had some health stuff, and I had to go and deal with that. And now I am off hanging out, living with my fiance, and doing that thing at the moment. Getting ready for a spring vegetable garden and all that stuff, and then just getting ready for a couple of different projects that I'll be talking about a little bit later this year. On some different cannabis projects in a couple of different parts of the country, but kind of sticking a little bit more to the US at the moment, and just kind of doing the family thing for a little while. So it's nice, a little bit of a break after traveling for pretty hardcore for the last about 5 years, from Africa and Asia and everywhere else across the US. In that time, it's been a bit of a wild ride, but yeah, it's just nice to sit put in one place for a little while at least. As far as
Yeah.
growing stuff. But otherwise, working on some cool edible projects here where I'm at currently. We have a nice little edibles lab and food production lab. We're doing, beneficial mushroom stuff as well as different cannabinoids and some other just plant infusion stuff. We have a work with a little shop here that's kind of like a cannabis / herbal bar. So you can come hang out and have a non-alcoholic beverage that is going to make you feel nice and fluffy in one form or another. We have a couple of different stuff, mimosa and kava kava, and it's kind of a take your pick of your herbal stuff. And a couple of cool concoctions that I've come up with that make you feel pretty good too, that are also non-alcoholic. So it's kind of a neat little space.
That is awesome. So I guess I did have one question I forgot to ask that I probably should have asked. When can the public try your AI tool out, and when and where will they be able to find that?
Sure. So I can actually throw it up here. So this is just a quick demo. So we can put in, I live in Ohio. I live near Cleveland, Ohio, and I have a 5-foot by 3-foot grow bed, peppers, a 8-foot by 2-foot grow bed of lettuce, and a 3-foot by 8-foot grow bed of cannabis. I want a nutrient solution that uses invasive plants and maximizes yields for each crop.
Wow.
Give me a nutrient solution plan for the entire grow season this year. Peppers. Yeah, okay. And then it'll think. Oh, looks like we have a problem at the moment. 1 second. I'm not quite sure. We've been working on the AI quite a bit the last 4 days. We're trying to get ready to transition it over to the other brain. So,
Man, that's insane.
I do apologize.
Hey, things happen. It's technology.
Local plants. We'll just use local plants. All right.
Yep.
Well, apparently, give me a second and I'll figure out.
No worries, no worries. I know when I played with it earlier, I was mind blown. I was just like, holy shit. I couldn't even read it all because I was in the vehicle going down the road, and I was like, wow, I gotta catch this later. I'm like, man, this blows my mind. But it was pretty spot on when I asked. And all I asked it was, I said, I'm in West Michigan. I have 12 cannabis plants outdoors, and I'm looking for organic fertilizer solutions. And boom, it laid a whole list out, and then it told me what I could get locally and everything, and I was like, "Whoa, okay, I think I can handle this."
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what's going on with it. But we just updated the database again this week. Oh, here it goes. It's working now.
Okay.
Again, sometimes it just glitches out for a second, and you just got to give it a minute. Here we go. We can share this now. Let me see if it'll do my original question now. Well, that's working again. Had to refresh the
No
page.
worries.
I had left that tab open a little too long. There we go. Yeah, baby. Here we go. All right. Here we go, guys. I'm sorry. That was my fault. All right. So the original question, I'm living in Ohio, near Cleveland, Ohio. I have a 5 foot by 3 foot grow bed of peppers. Well, it scrolled past it in a second. I'll scroll back up. But it's coming up with an FPJ, dandelion, and chickweed liquid fertilizer, a clover, fermented plant extract, and SOPs for creating each one.
Wow.
And then dosing a few different ones. Also has a stinging nettle based solution.
Holy cow.
So there we go. Now you guys can see it. Okay, so it knows the different things that you're asking. So it says 5 foot by 3 foot grow bed of peppers, and so on and so forth. And then it gives you your exact dosages for each one. Your nettle, comfrey, dandelion, chickweed. I want to use invasive plants instead. And now it'll think, and it knows the invasive plants in Cleveland and what's in the database that it knows the nutrients for. Oh, okay. Apparently it's still being bratty, but you get the idea.
Yeah, right. Man, that's crazy.
And like I said, we're in the process of migrating it to that new version. So the next few days we'll have a couple of hiccups that we're debugging, but we did a big upgrade to it a couple of days ago over the weekend, and accidentally broke a couple of things on it, but it is working quite well the vast majority of the time. And like I said, we are working on this 24 hours a day because we have people on different time zones now. So we just migrated it all to a different host for all of our back-end data because it works much better on the training data. So yeah, it's pretty
That's
great.
awesome. I wouldn't even know where to begin with that stuff as far as like building it. So it blows my mind, but I use it every day on the user side, and I I love it. I love what people have developed on so many different levels, so many different kind of tools. It's needed. I mean, it makes it a lot easier for a lot of things. And if you don't, like I said, if you don't learn to use it, you might fall behind in times, and it might not be good. So that's my opinion. AI's here. I don't think it's going anywhere, guys. And so, with that being said, is there anything else we need to know, or you want to let us know before we let you off the horn here?
Here we go. Again, it looks like it's just a problem with the one nutrient data file. So here's the pesticide, an example of one of the pesticides. You have different biological controls, beneficial wasps, lacewings, and other things, and then also talking about how to make your plants strong and resistant in the future. Observation, physical removal, cultural practices, biological controls, natural pesticides. So it tells you which plants you can think about using in FPJs, labs, other things like that. So really is a great example of stuff. And again, we're constantly upgrading the AI nutrient. The pest control section is the next one that we're going to do a lot of heavy lift upgrading, and that'll get a lot easier because we're switching to the multimodal, so it'll be able to understand a lot more of the world around it with photographs and things like that. So it'll be able to identify things for you as well in the next version.
Man, that's crazy. Wow. Definitely. You know, I don't know. I feel like you could probably pitch this to some universities, really. Like you guys have so many options available there. Like, oh my
We,
God.
we have some people, so not everybody on the team wants to be mentioned on cannabis shows, so I will respect them. But we have some people on some pretty big Ivy League universities that are now part of this, as
Sure.
well as Evergreen University in Oregon and some other bigger universities that are getting involved with this now that we've seen and demoed it a little bit. And like I said, I do apologize for the couple of glitches that we've had tonight on the other part of it. It seems to be working again now that I've done it here. So I'll show you this one last time. Now
All
that
right.
it seems to be playing nice again. Again, we've been doing a lot of upgrades. So this was just the demo one. When you hit that example, it shows you how to do it. But you can see here it tells you need a combination of nettles. So you need 5 kilograms of nettle, comfrey, dandelion, water to make your Jadam mineral solution, to 100 liters of water. So it gives you exact measurements.
Wow.
1 liter of labs to 1 liter of fish amino acids to, exact, how much you need of each different thing for your inputs for your garden size.
And if you're as not as smart as what this gives you, it can probably dumb it down even more if you ask
Well,
it to.
yeah, and you can see here's your ingredients, here's the exact amount, and then steps. Chop the
Yep.
plants, mix them into a large container, add water and JMS, cover loosely, and let it ferment for 2 weeks, stirring every 2 days.
Wow.
Strain and store liquid in a cool, dark place. So here's all the recipes to make it, and then here's your instructions for using the fertilizers. So you have soil drench, and use this every 2 to 4 weeks. Foliar spray every 2 weeks. And then in veg stage, apply the Jadam liquid fertilizer, KNF liquid inputs every 2 weeks. Mid to veg stage, switch to Vishnuveda plant nutrient, applying every 2 weeks. And then flowering, fruiting stage, reduce application frequency to once a month. And then there you go. So it tries to pick different things and combine some of the different inputs. For this, you can see here it's also adding, cow poop to the manure for the finisher at the end. So really does give good instructions on what you need. And in this one it was heirloom corn, brassicas, and spicy peppers. So and in Michigan, so you pick yarrow, horsetail, dandelion, comfrey, and nettle. And then it tells you why. So this is nitrogen, this is potassium and phosphorus, this is potassium and phosphorus, this is silicone, molybdenum and potassium, and then this is trace minerals in your yarrow. So it tries to balance the nutrient solutions around what the crops need. So it knows what the nutrient requirements for corn are, it knows the nutrient requirements for brassicas are, it knows what these are. So then it takes that and tries to quantify it into something that is very similar to what you would have with, say, salt nutrients, but using compost and liquid fertilizers to achieve those same nutrient levels.
Wow. It blows my mind. Man, that's insane. Like, oh, you couldn't even, oh, it saves you so much time. Like, it really does. Money, time, effort. It's just it's a very utilizable tool.
And it allows anybody to pick it up and run with it, and immediately, get started with their garden and on an easy to go way. And then if anyone wants to get involved, they can check out Copyleft Cultivars on Patreon. We are doing all the early access through Patreon right now, and that is helping us immensely with getting this off the ground and paying for some additional server costs to train up the new model. and everything else. So we'll be able to launch this at some point in the first quarter of the year. Once we have the next version launched and stabilized, that'll be the first one that we go public with. We're getting there. We're almost done. But if you want to have early access and start playing with it now, you can get in for $10 a month to get access. We kind of recommend that people donate $20, but if you don't have it, $10 will get you in if you aren't able to help. And then we do have additional tiers as well if you want to donate as well at higher levels. But yeah, if you want to get in early and check it out, definitely hop in if you want to be a supporter. And early access supporters and paid supporters will always have access to the latest beta versions, as well as previews and be the testers for all of our new features. So if you want to try any of the cool new stuff that we're adding to it in the future, you're able to get into that right away. Also, all the extra money after server costs from this goes towards helping us with the copyleft registration of genetics as well. So we do also help, if somebody from indigenous community wants to help donate their genetics to be registered, we do try to help out some of those genetic registration sequencing costs with extra donations. Eventually we're hoping to do that as well. So and then you can check us out if you're interested in getting more involved over at copyleftcultivars.com. If you want to find out more, if you want to be part of the team, just contact us over there. If you want to get involved with AI, if you're an AI engineer, if you have lots of plant data, if you have some other skill that would be uniquely beneficial to the team, let us know. And if it's something that we need right now, we'll definitely reach out to you. We are looking for more AI engineers, and we are looking for more people that are can help us a little bit on the investment side, in terms of trying to get this rest of our goals off the ground. We have some bigger, loftier goals with the AI that we're trying to achieve that we're not ready to announce yet publicly, but it's really going to be some cool features that are far beyond what it can do now. And we just need a little bit more money to pay so that we can train the AI, and it's not cheap. So that'll go a long way towards helping us get that goal. But Copyleft Cultivars on Patreon, if you guys want early access immediately to the AI, you can get into it for $10. We ask if you're able to, please give us $20. But if not, hey, we try to be considerate to everyone's needs and pocketbooks, because it ain't easy for everybody right now. But the sooner we get it developed, the sooner we can release the free version for people outside the US and everything like that to help everybody learn.
So my question is, one of the people in the audience asked about your guys' stickers, something to do with your stickers. I'd have to go back and read it here. Let me see.
Oh, sure, yes. So
and where they can get them at. So I figured I'd ask.
Yeah, so you can write us through the group there, and he's referring to this here. So you can go on to the page here and send off for Freedom Bag Tag stickers, or you can put this disclaimer on you can copy this and put it on your tags if you're a genetic producer. And it basically just says the use of this license is subject to the following terms and conditions. No attorney-client relationship or fiduciary duties are assumed, accepted, or implied by Copyleft Cultivars or any of its contributor members, participants. Copyleft Bag Tag license and any statements of anyways. So the Freedom Bag Tag terms, sorry, I read the wrong part. I apologize. That was at the bottom. You accept these freedom-affirming terms by opening this seed pack. You are free to use these seeds in any way, as so long as preserve freedom for all. You don't restrict others' use of the seeds or their progeny, and will include these terms with any transfer of the seeds or progeny, and submit any gene sequencing or SNP data derived from these plants to Copyleft Cultivars nonprofit to be published via copyleftcultivars.com. And we have a whole genetic galaxy that's very similar to like some of the other genetic galaxies you've seen online, that lists all of these open source registered genetics, and so that you can surf around, see what they're related to, and similar to the ones in, say, medicinal genomics has a really wonderful Canopedia is their galaxy. It's very similar to that. In fact, we're even working have been talking to them about possibly trying to cross incorporate our data, because they have an open source database as well, and we can kind of easily share our data with them. So
Wow, that's impressive. Holy cow.
anybody can copy this image and put it on your seed packs, and then you're covered. So
That's awesome. Wow. There you go, guys. Definitely. Man, I can't even, I'm still trying to process everything. Like, it's beyond my mind thought. Like, so basically, in a way, I know I'm going to ask dumb questions, but I'm going to ask them anyway. You guys are essentially making like a database of of genetics with using that tag and stuff like that, correct?
yep, and then as well as stuff people submit as well outside of that tag use. Yep.
Okay. I was just trying to figure it out. I'm just because my mind is quite simple. So to figuring it out, I'm like, okay. From what I'm gathering, they're taking and building a database, basically like a seed bank, and taking that information for the better of the public. Nobody's owning it; it's public, and it gives everybody a chance that wants to get involved a chance to donate whatever they're involved with to the purpose as well. Is what I gathered. So I know it's a lot.
Let's see if it seems to be working again. So now I hit that same Michigan prompt that it comes up as the example prompt, but I told it give me invasive plants. So it's telling you to use Paxa ginseng, Paxa quilifensis. It basically picked a bunch of different invasive plants, and then it's telling you to brew those up as your nutrient solution.
Wow. Man, that's impressive.
I'll scroll back up here afterwards. I'm sorry about
Wow.
the glitch earlier. It seems to be working just fine now. They must have been updating the database or something. We work on it in the evening, so I do
Okay.
apologize.
Hey, with technology, it's always growing and learning. I mean, like you said, you call it a brain. I mean, I'm sure just like anything else, it's got to learn and store things. So, hey, that's impressive.
Well, we did some upgrades, and we had to edit some of the formatting of the data sets, so that's basically where it's hanging up in once in a while. They must have updated it, and it seems to be working fine now. But as you can see here, okay, so it says, I have the thing in Michigan. I want to grow whatever plants. So instead, I said I want to use invasive plants instead. So it says use the root of Panax ginseng, the plant Panax quillicofolius, which is an invasive plant in Michigan. Panicum maximum leaf, which I'm not quite sure that plant or the common name, and then Passiflora edulis, that's your passion flower, and Passionia sativa, whatever that is, the root as well. So, the other cool thing is it can be like, I don't have any of those plants near me. Give me a different list of invasive plants, and it'll think, and then it'll redo the whole recipe and give you the recipe for a different set of invasive plants, because you couldn't find the ones on its original list. So now it's going to think and give you a different one.
Wow.
So now it's coming up with Calamia, a whole different, completely different list, a nasturtium, and others. The fruit of a different one, seeds and leaves of different plants. So, and it'll completely change it. So what's really cool is it allows you to really heavily utilize just every plant around you, just about that you can identify at least, and put it to use if it's an invasive.
Wow. That's insane.
And it doesn't just do invasives. You can do local plants that are native. It doesn't care. Like, you tell it what parameters you want.
Right. Wow.
And then it gives you application rates. Says 500 grams of this, 500 grams of that, 10 kilograms of compost. Brief history.
Now, if you, not to, like I said, I ask a lot of dumb questions. Some people say, but no question's dumb. Now, a lot of people don't do measurements in that. I mean, they do, but they don't. But let's say you wanted to convert the measurements to cups or tablespoons or something like that. Would it be able to do that?
Yep. So give me those measurements in imperial units.
Okay.
Now it'll switch from metric to imperial. Most people in farming use metric because,
Okay.
cannabis,
Right.
we always
Sure.
use metric in farming in general. And recipes are generally easier with grams.
Okay. I'm still learning this stuff, so
So
I've never.
this now it came up with different ones using kudzu, Japanese knotweed, Canadian thistle, purple loose leaf, and water hyacinth. 22 or 2.2 pounds of this, 2.2 pounds of that.
Wow, that's kind of cool.
11 pounds of this, 22 pounds of compost. So yeah, it doesn't care. It'll convert anything, and it was interesting. It even changed the plant list that time too, on the question. So it's really neat.
Man, that's impressive. That is so cool.
And then we can do tell me that and hi instead. Oh, apparently the language part's broken at the moment. Anyways, we'll have that back working in the next 24 hours. Don't worry. They're clearly updating the database.
That's impressive.
But normally
Regardless.
it can spit this out in any language that you want. I only found 2 languages when I tried to test it that it wouldn't give me answers for. So
Wow, that's insane. That's gonna help so many people.
we'll see. Maybe it'll answer it. There you go.
Wow. Okay.
Now it's answering it in Hindi instead, but the same recipe. So
That's
whoever,
insane.
again, like I said, it's hiccuping on some of these queries, but it's just because we're updating the database right now. It will work 99% of the time. We're just tweaking it right now. But here you go. Now it's the whole recipe.
That's so cool. I can't read any of it, but it's impressive. It really is. Wow. Just the universal utilization of this is going to be huge. Like, if you can't utilize this as a problem, this can help everybody. Man, that is so cool.
It also knows, like, take IMO to IMO 2 or IMO 4. It won't have like a recipe that just ends at IMO 3. IMO 2 can be converted to liquid IMO. IMO 4 and 5 can be converted to liquid IMO. But generally 3 cannot. So it won't stop at 3 or 1, obviously. You won't be like, just do IMO 1. Like, it doesn't work. So it knows, like, how to do all the things right. And we have some pretty high up teachers as well that are advising us on the KNF side and the Jadam side, and different areas of it that are very well known, and some of the biggest teachers in the industry when it comes to those particular fields.
Man, that's going to be cool. Definitely. Well, when you get this done, you guys need to reach out to No Till Farmer. They're another podcast that I'm a personal fan of, that I listen to. I bet you guys could get on there, and I'd like to see that. That would be huge. That would be impressive. Definitely. Yeah. Man, that is so cool.
And it could be answer in Spanish instead. I should do it. Yeah, there you go. So now it'll answer in Spanish instead. So you can make it do whatever. Like I said, only once in a while does it have a a couple of hiccups. But again, it's what we're working on right now. We're working on it every day in the evenings and stuff like that. So
Sure.
does a lot, even in its current
Man,
form.
it just blows my mind. That's why I wanted to do an episode on this. Is it's so new and cutting edge. A lot of people still haven't fully experienced it. Some people have played around with like Mid Journey or something like that, or they might have done something like Chat GBT or something like that, but they haven't. Nobody's developed anything like this, especially for agriculture and horticulture use, and or just cultivation as a whole, or gardening. And this hits every point. I mean, it's impressive, definitely.
Yeah, and trying to make it as agnostic as possible to the different methods. It does. We don't care if you're doing Jajam or KNF or whatever. We just want you to have access to the different recipes, and you can pick your own damn thing for your garden, right? So what's
Right.
best for your garden. I'm not going to tell you what's best, but I will say here's the top 3 options for dealing with this, that, or the other thing.
Man, that's awesome. Yeah, I like it because I'm going to be doing an indoor 3x3 living soil bed here soon. I just got to get off my ass and get it actually put together, and then set it up and get my cover crop going. But I'm lasagnaing it and doing different layers, and I'm going to be looking for different inputs. So I feel that might actually help me, with a lot of things that I haven't thought of. I got a good soil geologist friend here, but country roots. But if I miss anything or wanted to add something extra, I feel like that tool can help me even on that level. It really could.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you could be like, hey, I need to add more potassium to my system. So, in fact, we can
Right.
get that here. 1 second. I have a 4 by 12 foot grow bed, and want to raise the potassium levels significantly. I live in Philadelphia, PA. What? Give me a nutrient solution. Nutrient solution. All right.
Wow.
So it's saying WSK, water soluble potassium. It's saying dried tobacco stems. That's a good option. Alternatively, if tobacco is not available, sunflowers or any other high potassium residues you have access to. So it gave me that. I prefer to use invasive plants instead. Given your preference for invasive plants in Philadelphia, blah, 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 blah. So now it's going to use Japanese knotweed, kudzu, and Canadian thistle. And then it's going to give you recipes for those.
Wow.
So now you can just add, that, or you can say, hey, I want to make a bloom booster. I want it to have this nutrient ppm. I'll show you that next. So you can get crazy specific with this, and it'll give you, like, the more detailed question you give it, in general, the better it'll give you answers for.
Right. Yeah, I've heard that with AI, the more specific you are, the better the results. And
Yep.
I'm seeing that. Man, that is impressive.
To make a bloom booster that has 20 ppm phosphate, 25 ppm potassium, and we'll say 10 ppm magnesium, and 20 or 30 ppm calcium, using local plants available in Philadelphia. Give me a nutrient solution. So now it'll go back and look at its database that it has, and then it'll try to give you a dilution rate or a solution to get to that. Phosphate, it's the bone meal from W and making WSCP. And then potassium, you're looking at comfrey. Magnesium is the nettle. And then it'll break down how much to add of each to get an average parts per million for that. So you can get crazy specific with this particular.
Man,
and
that is
really
impressive.
specific. And it'll give you the exact gallonage to apply for that area, the dilution rates. Like it's really sick. So if you're really trying to replicate like a chemical solution, you can get super specific with it and be like, this is the exact profile that I want. Make this. And granted, you have to remember that you're going to have some variation with nutrient content in your local plants, right? The stuff growing in your local area might have a different soil solution, or soil content, or soil levels. So, keep that in mind. There will be some variance, but it'll get damn close, which is the point.
Man, that's so impressive. Yeah, like it blows my mind. Like, oh, I want to play around with it a little bit myself because I feel it's going to really help my next grow because, like I said, I'm doing a living soil bed, but if I want to raise something or I want to add something or even, okay, what's a substitute for this? I can ask it and it's going to provide me that information. Like I said, this could be so helpful on so many levels because, like, we get questions even here emailed that I can't answer that I could punch that question into there and it would give me some sort of answer that I could give to the person to help them if they can't access it themselves. I mean, obviously it's going to be so accessible as long as you have a smartphone, you're going to be able to use this tool to produce a better crop or a better harvest or a better plant or whatever you're growing as a whole. In the end, you could help and avoid a lot of problems or even overcome some if you have ran into some. It's a universal tool. It's amazing is what it is. Definitely. So, with that being said, where can they connect with you at and where can they keep tabs on how this is progressing once again? And is there anything else you want everybody to know before I let you go tonight?
Sure, yeah. They can check us out over at Patreon, Copyleft Cultivars, if they want to get access to it, or over at copyleftcultivars.com if they're wanting to get involved in any way that they're interested in. And then also too, you guys can check me out. Oh, I hit the wrong button there. I was trying to hit share. Over at Potent Ponics YouTube channel or Potent Ponics on your favorite podcast app. We just hit 15,000 subscribers over on YouTube. Also just set up my channel over on Odyssey, finishing getting all the videos uploaded over there. And then we're also over on Rumble, although I'm having a weird issue with my Rumble account at the moment. It's not syncing. It's not syncing the newest episodes, so I got to find out why it's not doing that. But most of the episodes are up on Rumble as well. That will be fixed soon. Somebody emailed me yesterday and said it's been a couple weeks, and I was like, huh? That's supposed to be automatic, so I'll fix that. But check me out at Rumble, Odyssey, or YouTube if you're wanting to get a whole bunch of different information. I also have a podcast, Growing with Fishes. We have over 350 episodes. yeah, it's quite a long podcast. Most of the episodes are 1 to 3 hours, and we've interviewed tons of people. We had a 4 hour and 20 minutes of interviews with Frenchie Cannoli on 3 separate occasions. We have like a bunch of people that have passed away. Michael McShane. We did a couple episodes from the Castro Castle in California. Like we've Jamaica, Thailand. There's tons of cool content on there from all over the world. Africa and Southern
Wow.
Africa. If I've been there doing projects, we try to always visit local growers and stuff like that and talk about what they're doing. I got a ton of cool videos from Thai and Jamaicans normal growers that are in the hills and stuff like that. The long dreads help you get into those more hard to get to grows.
Oh, I bet.
Some street cred, but yeah, it's definitely a cool channel, and we have a ton of cool content on there. I have a whole like 30 video series on beneficial insects and beneficial biocontrols. So you can, if you're trying to get into that, that's another great resource for yourself. If you're trying to learn more on your garden and you just want a quick like 1 to 3 minute video on like, here's a bug, here's what it eats, here's what it kills, here's some rough release rates, for the average home grower. So and try to help people out with that as well. So always trying to kind of get information out, and just like we talked about before at the beginning of the episode, trying to democratize this grow knowledge in a way that to disseminate it. There wasn't that many shows when I started off. There was Dude Grows, Grow From Your Heart, and like the Growers Roundtable, which their channel's been deleted.
Yeah, I remember that. That's where I started with, was the
Yeah.
round table. I remember that, and I've kind of wanted to recreate some of that, but I don't have enough education myself yet for that. But I love that, and then I got into Seed the Stoned and stuff like that, and then he disappeared, and it's like, man, the good ones are gone, but come back, please, because we could use you guys' knowledge more. But it stinks, but times change, and look at this, a prime example. I mean, AI, times have changed, look at where we're going. It's impressive. So I appreciate you coming on the show this evening, and you enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you.
Yep. And if anybody's looking for more laid back, chill show, we also have Dat Smoke Show. I forgot to mention as well. DAT Smoke Show. That's on Wednesdays. And that's just like a bunch of, it's myself and a bunch of other just cannabis content creators, podcasters. Sometimes we have cool guests. Clackamas Coot hangs out over there all the time. So if you're wanting to hang out with just who knows who's going to show up this week, it's kind of a fun, looser show. So sorry, I forgot to mention that earlier, but I figured I'd plug it there at the end.
Hey, that's fine. That's awesome. I try to jump on with you guys once in a while, but I usually am always stuck on the road. But I'm going to have to try to listen in more. I got to get over there and subscribe to where I can listen to it while I'm on the road, because I can't watch YouTube going down the road, unfortunately. So I like a lot of the audio ones, but I found a way to convert the videos into audio so I can listen to them while I drive now. So it works out good.
And that's a big thing too for podcasters. If anyone else is doing podcasting, first off, if you're doing anything cannabis on YouTube, immediately set up your Odyssey and Rumble accounts and set them to auto sync, because YouTube is brutal when it comes to our community. You can automatically back up your channels and have them dual hosted. So if YouTube goes crazy and bans your stuff, at least you still have 2 other versions of it that you can download, that you're not having to worry about, oh no, did I back up all the episodes and all that stuff? It makes life so much easier. And then also, like you're saying, audio is the main way people listen to podcasts these days. People listen working out, trimming, working in their garden, and converting it into audio format. We get about 20 times the listeners on my podcast on the audio version as we do for the video. So
same here. Last year we had over 25,000 listeners. Today we hit 40,000 views on YouTube, but we're growing. We don't have as many subscribers as you guys do yet, but that's impressive. Congratulations, 15,000. That's huge. I mean, because it took me forever just to get to 1,000, so I couldn't imagine getting there, and I'm always trying to be creative with everything, and it's a job every day, so I can imagine the amount of work you put into making that happen. You need to give yourself a pat on the back for that, definitely.
Thanks. And if anyone ever has questions on how to needs help or like just advice, hey, how do I host this or how do I set this up or whatever, always shoot me an email. I'm always happy to help people trying to get started as well.
I'm going to have to talk to you about the Odysseys type stuff because I don't know nothing about that, but I might need to do that. I have over 3 seasons on here now, so I don't want to lose anything. Definitely not. So we'll touch base on that. But with that being said, thank you for coming on the Organically Blunt Show, and you enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great night, and thanks to all the awesome listeners for hanging out with us this recording.
Yep, thank you. Have a good night.
As we close this chapter of Organically Blunt, immense gratitude to our exceptional partners who fuel our growth journey. Seedsman Genetics, the seasoned seed bank with over 2 decades of experience. Grow Bag, your trusted storage solution to protect terps. Gorilla Grow Tent, crafting spaces for cultivating dreams. Kind LEDs, illuminating your green haven. Country Roots Soil and Amendments, nurturing roots for success. Atlas Seeds, a source of pure genetic treasures. Green Wolf Genetics, creators of botanic magic. Smoke and Stork Genetics, where passion meets potency. Humboldt Seed Company, committed to cultivating excellence. Extreme Gardening, elevating your gardening game. Rain Science Grow Bags, redefining plants' homes. 420 Fast Buds, pioneers of fast and furious growth. Captain Redbeard Seeds, sailing the seas of genetic innovation. Aero Mixer, the rheumatic heartbeat of your grow. Petra Tools, your trusted garden companions. SoFem Genetics, sowing seeds of FEMS and Build-A-Soil, building the foundation of your organic oasis. Lost Close Plant Therapy, healing and enhancing plant vitality. Unlock these exclusive deals with coupon code Organically Blunt at checkout. Until our next episode, stay connected and keep growing, and as always, stay organically blunt.